Welcome back to The Pulse. Even before we go into the nitty-gritties of Aisha 1, the Galamsey kingpin sharing tears in court, let's talk about the DVLA more, because 92 workers were sacked on Friday. Explanation given by the CEO of the place is that they don't have money, and so they need to get rid of some workers to be able to operate the place effectively. But that's surely it's not going down well with the TUC. They've been negotiating since Friday to reinstate these workers, and on the line is Frank, who he's also part of the negotiation. Frank Salah is from the TUC and he's part of the negotiations. Good evening to you, Frank. Where have you reached with negotiations to reinstate the workers who were sacked from the DVLA?
Well, good afternoon to you and your listeners. I think that where we are now is that we are meeting with the employer, i.e. the local union of DVLA. We ask them to meet with the employer. We want to have full data of all those who have been affected. We want to know those who are really on probation and those who were not supposed to be on probation, because we know others have worked beyond the probationary period of 6 months. And so once we have those information available to us, the next stage is that how do we deal with those who are not on probation? Because if we want to bulk all of them up to say they are those who are on probation, it will be very unfair to such class of workers. So the category of workers we're looking at now are two: those who are actually on probation and those who have been with DVLA for a while, and technically they should have finished with their probation. Because in labor terms, your first day of entry in the organization is your first day at work. And so all those things are factors that we are looking at. And once we clear those things, we would know those who we are looking out for to be retained.
So how sure are we that the workers will be reinstated? Will it be any time soon?
We are looking at probably by the end of next week to have those who should stay. Those who actually are going to go, the provisions in the collective agreement is that in the first 6 months, it forms the time that the employer is supposed to assess you. In this case, the employer says that they don't have money. And so that is the reason. It's not about competence. And so we are looking at when will they be engaging their next employment. If within this short period that these workers are going to go because of the fact that the employer says they don't have money to pay them, and then the next day we see them employing after those who are actually on probation are gone, then we will have an issue with the employer. We will have to re-engage the employer on what they told us that was their problem.
If we listened to the DVLA boss a while ago, and he says that there's no opportunity for such a return. Are you still hopeful of the return of these workers?
In our meeting with the employer, we all agreed that there are those that have not been dealt with fairly. And those are the workers who have been with the employer over more than the 6 month period. And so technically, as far as we are concerned, those people cannot be treated as those who are on probation. I didn't listen to the employer speak this afternoon, but my understanding of what we all agreed on yesterday is simply this: that those who are on probation, who are yet to finish their employment, their probation period with the employer, those are the ones that have to be affected. And those that have finished serving their probationary period, because you count from the first day that they join the organization, they are technically not on probation. And so they must return back to work. And we are looking at by next week to have them back at work.
All right, many thanks to you. Francis Salah is Deputy General Secretary of the GTPCWU. Many thanks for your time on The Pulse. Now, Chinese Galamsey Kingpin Aisha Huang, charged for engaging in illegal mining, was driven to tears when the Criminal Division of the Accra High Court adjourned her bail hearing. Aisha Huang and 4 other Chinese nationals were arrested in Kumasi on suspicion of engaging in illegal mining and brought to Accra for trial. Joseph Akable was in court and now joins me in studio on this. All right, Joseph Akable, welcome on The Pulse. I nearly said today's big story, but this lady, what's her name? What's her real name? Is her name Aisha, or I really don't believe that her name is Aisha.
The name on the court records officially is N Huang.
Okay.
E-N Huang, H-U-A-N-G.
So let's stick to that. Her name is not Aisha. She certainly can't be an Aisha.
We understand that she's, well, I get it though, but we understand she's known as Aisha in the vicinity where she operates. She's a very popular woman.
And I also get that the spelling is not like I spell my name. So
yes.
it's
a bit of
apparently it's Aisha or Asia or something like that.
I think N1 would do.
N1. So tell us, why did the court adjourn hearing today?
Justice Charles Ekobeyin says he requires more time to listen to the arguments lawyers on both sides put forward to enable him rule on the bail application. Her lawyers are insisting that she should be granted bail. They said per our law she's entitled to bail. At the previous hearing, that was 2 weeks ago, the Ghana Immigration Service told the court they needed 1 week to undertake investigation, but the court in its wisdom granted 2 weeks, after which they've now come back to court making this application. So their lawyers were of the view that since that it's as if that 1 week has elapsed and they've given them additional week, it's only appropriate they allow her go home. Their main argument again is that she's unwell. They say she suffers from a medical condition that requires urgent attention. They said she was diagnosed in China. Since she came down to Ghana, she has been receiving regular treatment from the hospital. They furnished the court with evidence of that, the diagnosis from the Chinese hospital, and for which reason they're asking that she should be allowed to go home and receive treatment. But the Attorney General's Department representative disagreed with that. Her argument is that the prison service was capable of providing that treatment. All they require is for her lawyers, to, the doctor, to provide the kind of treatment she has been receiving. Once they get that, the prison service can arrange that. Again, says they are still undertaking investigation, and the fear is that she may interfere with the ongoing investigation if they grant her bail application.
I'm aware that at the court she herself was not happy at all about the whole proceedings. What really happened?
So right after the judge had listened to both sides, when he announced that he will be ruling on a matter on 2nd June, the court went on recess. The judge exited into his chamber. Right at that point, Aisha Huang hit her fist on the seat in the courtroom. She was very annoyed, unhappy about the fact that she didn't get the ruling today, with the hope that she was going to get a bail granted. And after hitting her hands on the chair for a while, a few minutes later, she broke down in tears. She cried for well over 5 minutes. Her lawyers approached her. They tried to console her. Same with the officers from the Ghana Immigration Service who brought her into the courtroom. They tried to console her, tried to calm her down, explain the situation to her that, I mean, obviously it's a legal process that is ongoing, so she needs to be a bit calm and not so much in tears and wailing as she was doing in the courtroom. So it took a bit of time. They waited in the courtroom about 15 minutes after proceedings, all because of her condition. At a point, the lawyer was trying to say something to her. She kept shaking her head and saying she wouldn't
must
listen.
have been very perturbed about the situation, to see the almighty Aisha Huang sharing tears.
Yes.
So what was the reaction from her lawyers?
I engaged Kwame Oredu, one of the lawyers. They are saying that as far as they are aware, they believe she has been kept unfairly for so long, but they still agree with what the court is saying.
All right, so I think it will be fair to listen to what the lawyers said when they spoke with Joseph Akable in court.
Now they claim that they did further investigations and they've charged them under the Minerals and Mining Act as well. So now they've added 2 additional charges under the Minerals and Mining Law. That is it. So basically they've added 2 extra charges. So now it's not just about immigration charges, but offenses under the Minerals and Mining Act as well.
Your client didn't seem happy when the request was was fixed for another day to rule on.
Yes,
as lawyers for her, how does this come to you?
We are not happy. I mean, we thought probably, looking at the days they've already spent in the cooler, we thought probably we could get an earlier date as a decision of the courts, and we would abide by it.
So, I mean, they were not happy with their client shedding tears in court, but what is the next adjourned date?
So the case continues on June 2. When a very simple issue before the court is the bail application, the judge has to give his ruling as to whether they will allow her live in Saum and go home for treatment, or they will continue to provide treatment for her in prison custody. So that will be what the court will be determining.
Okay, many thanks to you, Akable. We'll be monitoring this issue till the last minute, but certainly it wasn't a good day for Aisha or Asia or Isa or what, and her lawyers in court as she shed tears. So hoping that the next adjourned date will make room for her to go home and probably get some medical treatment.